Great. Hello, welcome. My name is Chef Elizabeth Whitt, and I work here at Prep Kitchen Essentials, teaching all sorts of cooking classes. And today we are doing another installment of our cooking classes for Summer Harvest, a local charity that we love to support. And this is Avery. She's a volunteer who is helping us out as well, and she's done a lot of the behind-the-scenes work for our recipes and our recordings this year. So today we are going to be doing a dish with zucchini and chicken. So zucchini is really fresh, it's in season right now. So I'm just gonna do a quick one-pot meal with some chicken breasts and some zucchini, and then we can throw in some tomatoes, some garlic, lemon juice. You can use cilantro or basil or nothing, and it just is a really nice one-pot meal. You can serve it with rice. You could, and I did another video with the rice with up, so you can also serve it with that. Or you could serve it over pasta, or just leave it alone, and it's just a really nice, refreshing meal. I'm also then going to jump into some knife skills for fruit. So you guys should have, you might have, I'm not sure, but you might have a mango in your box this time. But I'll show you how to do a mango. Also, I got a cantaloupe and a watermelon. I just got some fruits that I know that my family loves. So we went to the store this morning and we got some stuff that we wanted for the weekend. So I'll show you how to quickly get those cut up and ready to go. And then we'll turn it off and send you guys to cook. You can always contact us here at Prep Kitchen Essentials. You can reach me at chef@prepkitchenessentials.com, and I put my email on the recipes as well. So if you have any questions, just let us know. And we'll get started. So the first recipe is just a lemon chicken with zucchini and tomatoes. So I've got zucchini, tomatoes, some garlic, and then some lemon juice that we've already juiced. We're going to be using some, I like to buy the chicken, I buy chicken breast frozen, and then I just leave them, and then I'm going to go ahead and slice them up. This is going to be a quick sauteed dish, like kind of like a stir fry, maybe like an Italian style stir fry. And it's going to come together really quickly because we're going to slice up our chicken breasts. The chicken breasts, I pulled them out this morning of the freezer, so they're still a little bit frozen, which is going to make them easier for me to slice, so that's not a bad thing. And I will get them out and onto my cutting board, and then slice them up, and then get them ready for cooking. So I'm going to grab a knife. It's going to get chickeny. So the one thing is I probably should have done all of my vegetables first, and then I wouldn't have gotten my hands all chickeny, but I got kind of excited with explaining the frozen chicken. So what I want to do is, if you can take a look, thanks, Avery. Yeah, once you figure out the words, it'll be a lot easier. So what I have here is just a classic chicken breast. So it's always thicker on one side and thinner on the other side. And I want it to cook at the same time. So I want to make sure that I cut the thinner pieces into larger pieces, and then the thicker pieces into smaller pieces, so that it all ends up cooking evenly. So I'm going to take this thicker end and cut them into maybe, I'd say, like 1/2-inch slices. And again, it's so much easier to cut when it's just slightly frozen. And then as it goes down the chicken breast and becomes thinner and thinner, I'm going to make those slices even thicker. So I'll show you. This slice is a lot thicker than this first slice, just because it's so much taller. So I'll do that to my other breast. So I'm just doing 2 breasts of chicken. And then I'll put these aside, and then I'll get my zucchini ready to go. I actually could get my hand and start going. I'll do it a little more organized. All right, so there's my chicken. I'll put this to the side, and this is ready. Now I need to wash my hands because I've touched the chicken. So what I like to do is do all my vegetables first. So cut and do your vegetables first, and then you use the same cutting board. Here we have a million cutting boards. We have a big back area where we wash all the dishes. So it's really easy for us to use a lot of extraneous dishes. But at home, definitely start with your zucchini first, your tomatoes, cut everything up that's not raw chicken, and then use your cutting board for your chicken at the very end. And you won't have to do as many dishes, which I think is important. Okay, so for my zucchini, I am going to just slice it up into like half moon shapes. So if you want to just trim off the top and the bottom like that. And then to make it easier to cut, what you want to do is slice it in half so you get a nice flat surface. See how it rolls? Anything that rolls is you're going to want to chase it. And anytime you're chasing it with a nice sharp knife, you are risking hurting yourself. So we don't want you guys to get hurt and then be discouraged from cooking. So always try and find a flat surface. So let it settle and then slice it in half. And then one thing I like to do with zucchini is just to taste it. So sometimes you will get a zucchini that's extra bitter. The skin is extra bitter. So to make sure, and that will basically ruin the whole bunch. So to make sure that it's not too bitter, I just take a slice of just the dark green skin. And then I give it a taste, and you will know right away if it's too bitter. It's fine. It does not knock my socks off with bitterness, so I'm not going to worry about it. And so now I'm going to take these flat side down pieces and just cut them into nice bite-sized chunks of zucchini, just like that. And I'm going to also just dice up the tomato. So if you'll notice how I was holding my knife, I was holding it with my thumb and my forefinger on the back end of the blade. And then I took my 3 remaining fingers and wrapped them around the handle. So this gives me more control over my knife. More control means safer. It means that if I have less pressure. So if I do end up slipping or hurt or things go wrong, I'm putting less pressure on there and I have more control over it. So I'm much less like to hurt myself if I'm holding my knife this way. If you hold your knife, oftentimes people hold their knife with the tip of their finger on top of the blade. You're not using this finger to hold onto the knife, so it gets rocky, and then it's really easy to slip around, and then you just end up getting hurt, and then you stop because you don't want to hurt yourself. So always grip your knife if you can, like this, thumb and forefinger on the actual blade, and then these weaker fingers around the handle. There we go. And again, this is going to be a nice one pot quick meal. And any leftovers, what I like to do is, so the leftovers would just be zucchini and chicken pieces with some tomatoes and some garlic. It's just a great base for a soup. So you can use any leftovers for a soup, or you could throw it into some tacos or a quesadilla, or some sort of a frittata even. We're gonna make that we made a frittata as well in one of these series. So yeah, leftovers are great. Throw them into a soup or just reheat them. And the thinner you make these, the quicker your zucchini will cook. And the thicker you make them, the crunchier your zucchini will stay, or the longer it will take to cook. So since I like leftovers and I like to reheat my zucchini, I want to have them kind of on the crunchy side the first time I eat them, so that the second time I eat them on the leftover day, they aren't too overdone. So there's all my zucchini, and I'm going to show you my tomato now. So I'm just going to slice off just that stem end of the tomato like that, and then cut my tomato in half. And then I'm just going to slice these just like that. You could dice them, slice them. The recipe might even say to dice, but I just decided I'm going to slice them. The tomato is going to add a nice little kick of acidity. It's also going to kind of create a sauce with all the juices and the seeds from the tomatoes. But if you don't have any tomatoes around, you don't need to worry about, just don't worry, don't use them. But we had an extra tomato anyway. Okay, now let me show you how to peel the garlic. So for my cloves of garlic, I want to take this root end of the garlic, so the bottom, bottom end of the garlic, and I just want to trim that up. I think I need to go get water. Trim that up, but I'm going to leave this top part intact. So I'm just trimming the bottom root end, and then with my knife, or if you're not wanting to use your knife, you can use the bottom of a bowl or a glass that's empty. Just give it a smash, and then pinch the edge that you didn't trim, and then it usually just comes right out of its skin, just like that. So that's peeled garlic really easily. And then I'm going to give this a slice. You could mince it, you could slice it, you could leave it whole. I'm going to put it into pretty large slices because I know I'm gonna serve this to my mom tonight, and she's not a fan of a lot of garlic. So that way she can avoid the larger pieces of garlic. Now, if your family all loves garlic, then go ahead and mince up a lot of garlic cloves, and you can mince them up really small, and you'll have a ton of garlic flavor in there. But feel free to leave out the garlic or put it in larger pieces if you have some people that aren't so much of a fan. So I'm going to group everything together. I'm just going to use one garlic clove. So here's our lemon juice that we have ready to go, and that's going to be the sauce when we are finished with this. Okay, so I'm going to get myself a pan, and then start preheating my pan. And yes, my chicken is still a little on the frozen side, but that's okay. I'm going to get my pan nice and hot, and then I will add in a little bit of olive oil, cook my chicken about 75% of the way, and then I'm going to take my chicken out of the pan, and then while my chicken is sitting, it's going to continue to cook, and then I'm going to start cooking my vegetables, cook my zucchini first, then I'll add in my tomatoes, and at the very end, I will add in my chicken. So if my chicken's not completely cooked, it'll finish cooking up at the very end. So that's way I will make sure I'm not going to be overcooking my chicken. Most people tend to overcook their chicken only because they're worried that it's cooked. But one thing to remember is you can always add more heat to your chicken, but you cannot take that heat away. So when in doubt, take it out, check on it, and if it's not cooked, then you can always add the heat afterwards. But once you've overcooked it, that's it. You want to move it over closer? Okay, yeah. So I'm just sitting here heating up my pan. Now, if my pan is not heated up enough, then what's going to happen is my chicken will probably be boiling more than it will be browning. Browning takes place around 320 degrees and water boils around 212 degrees. So if my pan is not hot enough to evaporate or to get to that 320 degrees, then it's going to be boiling, not browning. So you put your hand, the way you can tell whether your pan is hot is, first of all, put your hand near it. And if you can feel heat coming from the bottom of the pan, then you know that's already half of the battle. The next thing I want to do is, you notice I didn't add any oil to my pan yet. I always heat up my pans dry because if I walk away, get a phone call, or get frazzled or something, and I have oil in my pan and the oil burns, I'm gonna have to wash the pan. I've ruined the oil. You know, it's a big production. Whereas if I just heat the pan dry and I walk away and I forget about it, I can just turn the heat down or turn the heat off and then let it cool. So now now you can tell whether the pan is hot by when you add the olive oil. So when I add olive oil to a cold pan, I'll get a cold pan for you. So here's oil, how oil acts in a cold pan. You might want to grab the pan for this one so they can see it. So oil in a cold pan just sits and it doesn't move around. Oil in a hot pan is going to start moving around really quickly, and you can start to see like the heat wave action, and that's how you know. So when the oil moves around, that's when it's ready to go. So I'm going to put this in. It's going to sizzle up a lot. Yeah, I know. Now you have to wash that in. Sorry, I just gave Avery a little extra work, but it was to teach a lesson. And since I touched the chicken with my hands, I'm going to wash my hands again. I'm not working very smart today. All right, and also I haven't moved my chicken around. There was a lot of water on here because my chicken was, oh, you don't have to show my face. Go ahead and just focus on that. Otherwise it's gonna be, you're not gonna be able to get the shot. So I haven't moved it around because there was frozen chicken still. There was a lot of water there. So I want to let this catch up in terms of the heat. So I'm going to let it sit. And the only thing I'm noticing is that one of these pieces is not touching the heat at all. So I'm going to just take this one piece and move it so it's touching the heat. And I'm going to let it cook just all on this bottom layer. And then once I can see that it's starting to cook up the sides, that's when I will take it and move it around so that it's going to cook on all the sides. But while I'm waiting, what I can do is grab some salt and go ahead and just season my chicken now. So salt is important to add in the beginning when you cook. If you add it at the end, all you taste is the salt on the outside and then the under-seasoned vegetables. If you add the salt in the beginning, though, what will happen is the salt will have a chance to like infuse into the food and make it taste better rather than tasting salty. So if you add it at the end, it tastes salty. If you add it at the beginning, it's going to taste salted or flavored. Okay, so now that I can see that we have a nice portion of the chicken that's cooked on the bottom, I'm going to take these pieces and put them on the sides that are not cooked yet. So I'll just take them and put them around. And don't be afraid to use the sides of your pan. The sides of your pan are just as hot as the center of your pan. So I'm just taking these pieces, putting them around so I can cook them on all sides. And then I'm going to flip these guys. So I actually did get a little bit of browning, and what that means is I just got a little extra flavor by having that browning. Turn this so we can see what we're looking at. And then you know what you're doing. And this. Okay, so just these little bits of flavor are going to really enhance my dish. This guy needs to be turned. All right, so I'm going to give it one more little pinch of salt. And I don't think I mentioned it yet, but the pepper, so pepper does not need to be added at the beginning. Pepper could be added at the table or never added or added whenever. So it's not as important as salt in terms of what time of the cooking you add it in. I'm going to let this sit again because I don't want to stir it. The more I stir it, the more I'm taking it away from the heat and more it's going to cool down the pan. I'm going to get boiling chicken rather than browning chicken. But I am going to get my remaining food ready to go. So I have the zucchini that's going to come in afterwards. And then I have my garlic and my tomato that's going to come in after that. All is ready to go. I'll go ahead and flip my chicken once more. And I do have some pieces. See, some of those pieces did get nice and brown, which is great. And some of them didn't. But when we add in our zucchini and our tomatoes and everything, we're going to do what's called deglazing. And that's going to pick up those brown bits that we got from some of the pieces on the bottom of the pan. And it's going to bring that flavor into the dish in the form of the sauce. So I actually want my chicken to stick here and heat up nicely. Okay, so these bigger pieces are, I would say, 50% cooked. The smaller pieces, I would say, are almost cooked. So I'm going to start just taking out these little guys that I know are almost cooked. Let's see. And when in doubt, you can just take it out of the pan, slice it in half, and you'll see on your own. I'm going to call it almost cooked. And also the thing to remember is that I can always add heat to this. So if I take it out too early and these pieces are not cooked, all I do is just let it sit in the pan a little bit more. Really hot. Okay. So these bigger pieces. The other thing to remember when you're cooking proteins is when a protein is raw, it's very squishy. And as it begins to cook, it becomes more and more firm. So you can also check the consistency of your meat before you cook it, and then you'll understand how it ends up cooking as it goes along. Okay, so since I'm still waiting for these bigger pieces, I'm gonna just put these off to the side of the pan. And then can you guys see all that nice brown in the pan? That's all delicious flavor. So I'm gonna count on the water in the zucchini to help me deglaze this. I'm going to put my zucchini in the pan. And by the way, I'm still on high. I have not changed my heat to low because so far my pan is not telling me that I'm burning too much. I'm going to add some salt for the zucchini now. So you'll notice I'm salting everything as it goes in the pan. And then by about now, I can take out the chicken. And I'll cut one in half for you guys to see as well. But this is the biggest one, and I don't think that one's cooked yet, so I'm gonna leave that one in a little bit longer. This guy, I'm gonna say that one's pretty much good. So let me get this and try and cut it in half for you guys. Yeah, so you can barely see, but it is cooked. It could use another minute of sitting, but it's cooked. This is the only piece that is not cooked in my opinion. So I'll check that one for you now. Yeah, and then see that. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. Yeah, you can see it. So that one's not cooked. So that's why this is the last one in the pan. It was also the biggest one, the thickest one. So now I'm noticing a lot of browning in the bottom of my pan, and I can also see my zucchini is getting nice and brown. So that means it's only going to get worse. So I'm turning my heat down to low. So I just turned my heat to low. And that way I'm going to avoid burning it. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to add a little kick of oil in here because I didn't have any. And the chicken breast is pretty clean. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil. And then I'm going to stir. So remember I said, don't stir before because we wanted our chicken to cook. Now that we have a pan that's super hot, you know, and everything's cooking, now we can actually stir a little bit more. And then we're gonna deglaze all those brown bits in the pan with our zucchini and bring all that flavor into the sauce. And I'm still cooking that chicken just a little bit longer. That was a really, really big piece that I had there. So now we are pretty much done with this. Oh, I didn't do the cilantro. I'll do that at the very end. I'm going to do a little bit more salt on the zucchini because these are very small pinches. So we're just going to let this sit as the zucchini cooks. Once the zucchini is cooked, we'll add the tomatoes and the garlic and the lemon juice and get all this nice brown flavor from our pan. So the other thing about cleaning up this pan with the lemon juice and the zucchini is then we don't have to do it for the dishes. But anytime you're using a pan that you get brown, the only thing you need to do is just soak it and the brown will come off very easily. But it means you got really good flavor. Okay, I'm gonna call this piece of chicken done now because it's had a little bit longer to sit. So the chicken is all over there. And now we're just cooking the zucchini. All right, so I am going to, so you can see how it's starting to clean the pan up. So all of that flavor is now coming into the zucchini, cleaning it up a little bit. And now my heat has really gone away, so I'm gonna actually turn it up just a smidge because I turned it all the way down to low. Now I'm putting it back on medium. And then we're just gonna wait for our zucchini to cook. And then we'll finish in with the garlic and the tomatoes and the lemon juice, and then throw the chicken back in. Okay. Hey, Avery, do you have any questions or you good? Would you make this? Do you like zucchini?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like garlic?
Yeah.
Tomatoes? No tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
So there you go. You leave them out.
Exactly.
What else could you do in here? Oh, you could do summer squash. But like in the wintertime, you could do broccoli, or even now, we've got broccoli now. Broccoli, cauliflower.
You can really use any vegetable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the vegetables that take longer to cook you're gonna probably want your heat down a little bit lower, and it's just gonna take a little bit longer to cook. So let's say you want to do carrots and broccoli together. You're gonna want to put your carrots in first and then cook your broccoli, because your carrots are gonna probably take twice as much time as your broccoli. Okay, so now I'm gonna call my zucchini cooked enough. It could be cooked more, but again, I'm gonna have this as leftovers too, so I'm gonna kind of undercook it. So I'll take my garlic, add it straight to the pan, so I know that it starts to get cooked and it's not too raw. And then I'll add my tomatoes. Get that starting to heat. And then I will add my lemon juice or lime juice. Stir that around. And this is really going to be deglazing, getting up all the juices. I mean, not the juices, getting up all the brown bits with the juices. And then I add in the chicken to finish up, but I'll put it in and then I'll show you different pieces. So there's an accumulation of juices on the plate. You want to add that in. It's just like bonus chicken broth. And then we'll just take a piece of chicken, check it, and it's totally and completely white through the center, but it's still juicy, and it still has nice juices running through it. So I know it's not overcooked. So that's exactly how we want it to be. And remember, we didn't overcook it. We just cooked it so it was almost completely cooked and then took it out. So this is done. You could add basil to it. You could add cilantro to it. We'll add some cilantro to it at the very end, but this is ready to eat. Turn off the heat and ready for dinner. There you go. Okay. Do you like, hi, are you Corey? Okay, go, you can go and talk to them. Want to taste everything? Sure. Okay, so Avery, you're gonna taste it. We'll move over. Here we go. And that way I can do the cilantro. So I just have some cilantro. My cilantro was, just, go for it. My cilantro was from a while ago, let's say. So there were a few pieces that weren't so great. So I just picked out what looked fine, and it was still a little limp. So I just put it in some ice water, and that just perks it right up. So I'll go ahead and take my cilantro. And since I don't want to get my cutting board full of cilantro, because I know I'm going to go and start cutting fruit next, and I don't really want to mix my cilantro with my fruit right now, I'm just going to take some scissors. So let's say your cutting board's all put away, but you do want to garnish this with some fresh herbs. I'm going to just grab some scissors and just cut it right on top. Fresh scissors. I just said fresh scissors. Some scissors. Did I say fresh scissors? Okay. Sometimes I say something. So here we go. Just like that. Again, if you don't like cilantro, use basil, use mint, use nothing. And this way I didn't have to dirty my cutting board. So there's a big bunch, with cilantro, you have a big bunch of stems that you can use or not use. It tastes like cilantro, it's just a little stringy. There we go. And that is our dinner, healthy, easy, ready to go. Full of summer produce and great for leftovers. Okay. So that's done. Now what I'm going to show you is how to cut up some summer fruit. So mango, cantaloupe, watermelon, all sorts of fun things. I think I will start with the watermelon. Yes. And then you want to put the camera maybe like over there. And then you could roll over the big trash can. That'd be easier. Perfect. Okay, so this is gonna be very similar for any type of melon, orange, kiwi. You're going to be peeling it the same way. So what I want to do is take off the top and the bottom of the melon, or the bottom of the top, whichever. So just like that, and like that. Then I'm going to stand it up on the sides. And what I want to do is I see now how thick the skin is, and I see what I need to be peeling off. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to saw my way down, taking off the skin. The first slice, well, I kind of messed up the first slice, but the first slice is kind of just an experiment. It'll show you actually how much on the side you need to cut off. So I'm going to follow this line right here and then cut it off. And then just keep turning it around. And I wish I could help you pick out a watermelon. I can't. I always, some years I do it really well. And I try and ask all the produce people, and they all give me different answers. And so now I'm kind of, I've given up. I'm a little frustrated right now because I asked the produce guy to pick it out, and I said I needed to be perfect, and it's not. It's like already. So I'm going to take it back tomorrow because, you know, there you go. I used to pay attention. There used to be like a sunspot where they were like, yeah, if it has a spot on it, that means it's been sitting in the field longer. But you know, if you go to a nice farmer's market, or you can go to a farmer's market, you usually have really a lot better luck than a grocery store. But sometimes it's not that bad. And sometimes it's a little worse. Okay, so now I have this nice piece of fruit. What I want to do is slice it up into strips. This. Oh, this is going to be a dice. So if you want to dice it up, you just keep slicing it like this, and then you keep going. And then you take these pieces. Actually, I'll do several ways for you. So slice it like that. Then take these pieces, flatten them out. Oh, so it's not as bad as I thought. I was a little pessimistic. There's maybe like, I don't know, 10%. That's not great. Then I'm going to take these pieces and slice through them like this. And then turn them, slice them again, and you have a nice dice for our fruit salad. And then I'm going to throw it into a bowl. Let's see. Pop it into a bowl. Okay, and then for the other one, this would be like for a platter. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it and slice it down the center. So I have them in quarters basically. And then take it here and just slice strips like this. But I wanna make sure that it's all held together. And then I can take a platter, plate, and do it in this little bowl. Take the watermelon, lift it up. Put it there. And I can fan it out in the bowl. And then I can add more fruit to it too. So I'll wait and finish it up when I have some more fruit. Okay, this I'm just going to put here. Now, if you leave it a little bit bigger, it's gonna last a little bit longer. So if you're not sure when you're going to eat it, my family would go through this in like a day. But if you're not sure how long it's going to take you to get through it, you can leave it in bigger pieces like this, and then just cut it up when you serve it. So next, let me do the cantaloupe. And the cantaloupe is going to be done pretty much the same way as the watermelon. The only difference is going to be that there's seeds in the center that I'm going to need to scrape on out. So again, I'm going to slice off the top and the bottom. Top and bottom. And then peel around. And again, you see what you need to take off on the top. My first slice is going to be harder to judge. Would you get me a spoon so that I can scrape out the seeds, please? So my first slice is just going to go, oops. First slice went a little crazy on that bottom part. Took off a little bit more than I needed to. Oh well. And then the second slice, I'm going to use this green as a guide. See what I need to take off. So just keep peeling. And now I want to flip it upside down, right side up, whatever you want to call it. And then I need to fix these pieces. So you can see that's the oops moment that I did when I cut up a little too much. I'm just going to shave off these pieces right here. It's the green parts that I missed. Hey, Marcia, I'll be done in 5 minutes if you have questions. Okay, so now I have all my green pieces gone. So I'm going to cut this in half. And then again, the only thing from the watermelon is I'm going to out these seeds. The seeds, let me show you. You don't need to scrape it to oblivion because it's actually super sweet where these seeds are. So I just want to get out the seeds, but I don't need to get out much of that interior because it's very, very sweet and flavorful. So I don't want to scrape out too much. But I do want to scrape out the seeds. Not that they're going to kill you, they just are a little not as pleasant. So get out that part, but not taking out too much of the extra good flavor from right there. Okay, and then we'll cut it up just like we did for the watermelon. So, oh, you can, for the cantaloupe, you can slice it. It's in half already, so you can slice it like this, like we did for the watermelon, and then turn it, and then slice it again. I'm going to leave 1/4 not done, so then you take these pieces, slice them. So this would be like a diced cantaloupe. Honeydew would be the same. Canary melons, diced version here. And to do the other version like we did with the watermelon. So I'm slicing through it. When my knife is on the cutting board, I'm popping my finger over to hold on to both sides of the melon, pull my knife out so that I keep everything all in one line. So it's easier to bring my fruit over and it stays all together. It looks nicer, easier to carry. So I slice through it, pop my finger over, pull my knife out. Oops. Fall this way, so I will let it. Okay, so then I have my cantaloupe here. Put it over here somehow. It's all facing the direction. Center. Go. And this out. Didn't have to do much to it. There we go. And last but not least, mango. So let me show you the mango. I'm gonna peel the mango with a peeler actually. So I'm gonna make sure my hands are dry though, because I don't want to slip. Board and everything is gonna be dry. Okay, so I'm gonna take my peeler. Just gonna trim off this little stem bit right here. And then peel along where the pit is. So the pit is laying flat in here. And I want to peel an edge that's going to allow me to set this on my cutting board safely. So I'm gonna peel this first edge here. This looks like it's only like a semi-ripe mango. I don't know, we'll see. So the riper the mango, the bigger the pieces you want to cut. The firmer the mango, the smaller the pieces you want to cut. So I've peeled that edge that's going to allow me to place it on my cutting board and have it be nice and stable. And then now I'm going to peel the rest of it with my peeler. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I like to get all this fruit done on like one day and get it all cut up and then leave it in the fridge and then people can help themselves. But if I had to choose, the watermelon would need to be eaten first, then the cantaloupe, and then the mango, just by the ripeness of them. Okay, so my mango is now peeled, and I'm going to use that first flat surface that I created by peeling it. And I want to cut on both sides of the pit. So I want to, and I don't exactly know where the pit is, so I'm just going to guess. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the top and then just kind of saw into it. And I hit the pit. I'm a little too close over here. Let's see if I turn it around. Can I get through it? Oh yeah, here we go. So I just turned it around and then I was able to get it off. Now I want to do the same thing to the other side. Again, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's usually about an inch. And there's the other one. Okay, now these pieces, this you could kind of chew on as like your reward for cutting this up, or you can slice to get these extra bits off. Once you know what the pit of a mango looks like, you kind of know where to send your knife. And again, if you hit the pit, just pick your knife up and start over. So just get any extra bits like this, and then you snack on the rest. This is what the pit looks like. So you can see it tapers down, and that's how you know how to cut it. And then these pieces can be snacked on. I usually just put these in a bowl right away and snack on them. And then this stuff can get diced or sliced. So to dice it, you just slice it into it. And again, pop your finger over, pull your knife out, slice, pull your knife out. Each time popping your finger over to hold on to that slice of mango so it doesn't come out. So this is a nice slice. And then to dice it, you can just turn it and slice it the other way. Like that. These are on the smaller side again because the mango is not very ripe. If the mango is ripe, I would just make the spaces in between my slices a lot bigger. So then I'm gonna just throw this in over here. So here's our pretty fruit bowl. We've got mango, cantaloupe, watermelon, all ready to go. And then I can throw these pieces over here. Mango, cantaloupe, watermelon. Here we are. Kind of looks like a weird pyramid or rocket ship, I don't know. The other thing, if you do want to just slice up the mango, kind of for maybe a dessert or a fruit platter, just do slices of it, thinner if you'd like. Then you can take this and fan it out nicely. We'll just take these slices and then just give it a little fan. That. Those. There. There. Who doesn't want to eat that? Just plain old fresh fruit. It's a little weird design though. Okay, so that's it, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just email us at chef@preppkitchenessentials.com, and we look forward to any questions. All right, take care. Bye.